What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Digging in the ORUL8. My name is $2 Cuts. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're checking out BTS's ORUL8 2, and this kind of reminds me of that skit where they're all in the room and they're just kind of hanging out and they say they're gonna skip class, and then I think the P-Dog who comes? Somebody discovers them, they're like, get to class, but kind of like they're trying to skip and they're also late. I guess ORUL8 2 might refer to them all being late, like the other members also being late. I'm not sure. I don't know if that means that they're talking to us or if it's talking about the members, but you know, I didn't really quite research that, but I did kind of read back over BTS's history, and there's so much history there. Everybody on Reddit was really nice about sending me stuff to read because I told them that I like reading more than I like watching the videos. Everybody's been really kind. By the way, Army's been really kind about giving me material on BTS, but the videos with the narration just kind of makes me fall asleep if the narration isn't good or if the video isn't edited correctly or edited well. So yeah, reading is kind of where it's at for me. It lets me, you know, gather a bunch of information a little bit faster than videos would. Anyways, on to the album. So I already talked about NO a little bit before, and what I discovered was that, well, oh sorry, let me play it. I'm gonna play each track as I'm going through it. So what I learned was, you know, the themes of not being happy with the way things are run by adults or maybe just society in general, or people telling them what to do and what their dreams are, and that they should follow what they say about their dreams instead of their own dreams. That theme was still present in NO. And then when I went on, let's go ahead and move on to We On. Hey, We On. Went on, We On. We On reminded me a lot of DJ Mustard, and this was the hot sound early 2010s. DJ Mustard was basically the hottest producer out, and so these vibes that I get from We On, I feel like RM and Jungkook were the producers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, Army, if I messed that one up. But they definitely got their influence from maybe what they heard in California or the California vibes and what was popular at the time, because DJ Mustard was popping off. It says, it sounds like DJ, I'm going to read notes that I wrote for each song. It says, sounds like DJ Mustard production, very much the sound du jour. And then you have that low voice echo. Let me see. I didn't quite get here. It's somewhere, it's spread throughout the song just every once in a while. And then we move on to If I Rule the World. Now, what I noticed was that If I Rule the World starts off with lowrider noises. And so that's why I think that RM and others are getting their production influences from the West Coast specifically. And not just what was popular at the time, but I mean, over here we have, you know, you listen to it, we have the synthy bass. That was definitely, what do you call it? Like G-Funk, Parliament Funkadelic type vibes. You have the high pitched noise, which is kind of like NWA's Dope Man. I mean, that's initially where I heard it. I don't know where everybody else heard it, but that's how I kind of get that, where I get that vibe from. And I kind of like when Suga said, I'd be the Kim Jong-un of hip hop, the hip hop world, and ban everything but our music. I think that's funny. I think that says a couple of things. One, that they're not allowed to listen to K-pop in North Korea, unfortunately, and that he would ban everything but our music, as in, like, he's very confident that they have the best music and their music is the only one that should be listened to. I thought it was funny. And I think it's a cool song. So we have like We On and If I Rule the World with like heavy Cali influences, and it sounds dope. So some notes about the rapping. It says, this is what I wrote. It says, I wish I knew how to speak Korean so I could evaluate the rapping better. They might be excellent rappers, but what I would use to judge English rappers is probably a little bit different, because the only thing I can go off is the way that they flow over the beat, or just how well the songs flows. And that's of course a really important part, but there's also things like cadence. There's things like the way they rhyme. Do they rhyme? Oh, sorry, I'm gonna scroll this up. Are they rhyming like the way Cameron from New York, if you know who he is, from Dipset, the way he said he likes to judge whether you're a good rapper or not is if you can rhyme multiple lines, multiple words in a sentence, kind of like Eminem and I guess before that Rakim in the 80s. And I hear it, but sometimes I can't tell if it's the same word or not because again, I don't speak Korean, so I'd like to learn Korean so I could understand. I could judge, or I could appreciate. Excuse me. I could appreciate the way that they're writing more. So if you feel the same way, let me know. I can't be the only one who feels like that. I always feel like there's something lost in translation, or I'm just not appreciating it as much as it should be appreciated for maybe excellent writing or excellent flows. Yeah. So let's see. Also, I think RM was killing it. Yeah, I can see, what do you call it? Oh, okay. Anyways, let's move on. So Coffee, we have this smoothed out beat. I think it's dope. Let's see. So here's another thing that I don't understand about the rapping. When I hear Korean rappers, or I guess I'm not gonna say necessarily pop stars, but I hear this in Stray Kids too, is when they rap. Excuse me. When they rap over a softer beat, I feel like there's an aggressiveness in their voice that could be tamed a little bit. Like they should be a little bit smoother with the delivery. And one way I can compare this is when if you listen to LL Cool J, his Mama Said Knock You Out, and that's from the 90s. And then you listen to Around the Way Girl on the same album, you can hear the difference in his delivery and his raps. Mama Said Knock You Out is super duper aggressive, while Around the Way Girl is obviously him trying to get with a girl. And RM is doing a fine job here, but I thought that the other guys rapped a little too aggressively. But I also feel like that might be a cultural thing in the way that you talk to a female. Maybe talking smooth in Korean to a female is not the same as talking smooth to a female in English. So someone correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. If you disagree or agree with anything, sound off in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. But yeah, I thought it was a cool song. Let's get to the Cypher. The Cypher was cool. And what I learned was that RM is kind of a geek. He keeps making geeky references. He's made... Oh, well... Yeah, I feel like some of the references are nerdy but it probably still holds weight or holds value in terms of his listeners, because over here he talks about the Lance of Cassius, which is a Neon Genesis Evangelion reference, and that's pretty deep. If you watch Neon Genesis, it's not really for everybody, but I do honestly think it's one of the best animes of all time. Feel free to agree or disagree again in the comments, but it's a fairly deep cut to expect someone to understand that, I guess. And I got that Cassius Lance reference from Genius. Unfortunately, I know a lot of y'all said the lyrics were not quite up to Bangtan sub standards, but I thought it was a pretty good translation. Anyways, okay. And I thought it was cool. J-Hope also said Hope World instead of Cole World, because I know J. Cole is his favorite rapper. Things I wrote. So since this is them rapping, 4 of them rapping, correct? Do they think about the anchor like they do in hip hop? So usually in hip hop, the person who they think rapped the best or had the best verse in a song goes at the end. If you listen to International Players Anthem by UGK and Outkast, though, that wasn't quite the case because Andre 3000 had the first verse. But if you listen to Forever, which had, I believe, Drake, Lil Wayne, Kanye, and Eminem went last. And that was essentially the verse of the year. That was like his comeback verse, and it was the verse of the year almost undoubtedly. Sorry, excuse me. My nose is super itchy for some reason. You listen to other posse cuts, it should be the same way. The best verse goes last. And so, again, because I can't quite Sorry, it's my thumbs, I guess. Because I can't quite evaluate them correctly because I don't speak Korean, I wonder if whoever had the last verse was indeed the anchor and had the best verse. Maybe some of y'all can let me know if that's the case because I'm super curious. Next up, Attack on Bangtan. And Attack on Bangtan was fun. Apparently that's a play on Attack on Titan. I thought that was really funny. Concerning the way that RM raps really fast, my question was that if that's a thing that rappers like to do in South Korea. And I'm not sure if it's of that time or now also because Lee Young-ji, if y'all know who that is, she always raps really fast. And it seems like a lot of people associate rapping fast with rapping well. I don't know if that's necessarily always the case, but she does rap well and she makes great music, and RM's rapping fast here as well. But over here in the States, rapping fast is not quite associated always with rapping well. If you listen to, okay, I guess if it's an Eminem's doing, or guys like that, they're doing it a little bit differently because they're double timing it. But again, it also doesn't always indicate that whatever you wrote is a good rap either. So yeah, if that's like a thing, maybe some of y'all know more about the Korean hip hop world. Let me know because I'm really curious about that. Let's see. Okay, Jungkook had this line in the second verse where he says stepping on our seniors' backs on stage, and he apologized, but it sounded kind of like a disrespect, and I wasn't sure if that's what he was trying to imply. So I do wonder if there were other senior rappers who took offense to that, or they just thought that it was cool that he was trying to get his shine on at that moment. Let's see. Okay, so I have this whole paragraph. I'm gonna save this for later when I do a wrap up. Give me 1 second. Attack on Bangtan. Oh, and I also found, since I typed in, I think Attack on Bangtan on Google, it showed me the YouTube video. I thought it was cool that they had a video for it. And they're all, by the way, they dance so much better now. Not that they danced poorly in those videos, but I just think the dancing from, let's say 5 years ago, between the dancing from their debut to dancing 5 years ago, the difference is 9 days. Just insane. Let's see, Paul Dong Gang-san. I thought that was cool. They used the Sunny sample from Boney M. If you go listen to Ooh-Wee by Ghostface featuring Nate Dogg, it's produced by Mark Ronson. It's the same sample. It's just Boney M Sunny. Drums aren't quite the same, but the idea is like definitely there, and I'm pretty sure they were inspired by that song, the Mark Ronson song. Seems to be about dialects and accents. This how it's all kind of one South Korea. Things might be different regionally, as they would be between Florida and New York, let's say, but they're trying to represent it all and appeal to everyone. And I think that's really cool. And then Jungkook, V, and Jin got their shine on the last track. It's not like they didn't have other R&B songs, but this time this R&B song was theirs. And I thought it was cool that they shouted out Coffee and If I Ruled the World on the same track. And it was a smooth one, and it reminded me a little bit of V's album. Overall, I'm just going to talk about it here. Okay, overall, I thought the album definitely had a more accessible sound. Like the way that they decided to use the California influence, I think definitely probably brought in more fans. I'll read what I wrote. It sounds like they got a little bit more serious about appealing to a wider audience, as if they learned from any success of their first album that this was just the beginning. But in order to grow, they had to extend their reach by expanding their sound palette. So in that case, they used, West Coast, G-Funk, DJ Mustard. They had this smoothed out R&B stuff. And now they had this on their first album too, but they didn't have as many R&B tracks. And yeah, and so let's see. It says they definitely held it down for their core audience, the ones who backed them up and listened to them, as they talked about their societal issues that they faced and battling the opposition, aka haters, who try to keep Bangtan down through NO and WeOn. It's still cool hearing them talk themselves up and talk down to those who doubted them, but I wonder if this is going to continue on to the next album. I think you can only keep songs like this keep doing songs like this if you're the underdog. But what happens when you start getting mainstream traction? Do you even bother with the haters anymore? The people who, ooh, dang, we can't go there yet. Yeah, the people who hated before, who said they sold out because they're in a boy band, aren't even worth mentioning at that point because they're so big. And I heard this album did pretty good, according to their wiki. So I'm curious. Like, I haven't listened to the third album yet, but I am going to get into it. And I almost did. So what had happened was I almost went to the next song in the videography, but realized that was on the next album. But I hadn't finished listening to ORUL8 2. So I thought I should do that first. And here we are. Yeah, so sound off in the comments below if you agree or disagree with anything I had to say, or if you have any comments, like any information you'd like to share, because Army's been really nice about that. But yeah, I thought it was cool. It was a good album. And I wish I listened to this when it came out, so I could have a better view of it, and how far they're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit with an idol group. I think it's super duper cool. Maybe some of y'all know was Big Bang doing conscious stuff like they are, like BTS was back then, in their beginning, I mean, or were they still like, I don't know, just kind of like fun guys instead. But that's kind of all I got. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to the third album, check out more videos. Sound off if you got anything else to say. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. All right, peace.